me adjust. And I'm just going to wait a second for everybody to join us here while I get everything set up. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're all set. Good. Okay. So, hello, welcome to the new moon in Scorpio reading. This is going to be a little bit of astrology, a little bit of tarot, and a little bit of my own intuition based on what we are kind of working with around this new moon. So, now that there's a few of you who are here, let me know if you can hear me okay, guys. Hi, Liesel, thanks for stopping by. Let me know if you can hear me, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, Michaela. Thank you for attending. You're so welcome. Hi, Ashana. Yes, okay, you can hear me. Great, fantastic. Okay, so guys, welcome to the new moon in Scorpio. This is some pretty intense energy, as Scorpio is quite intense. So I wanted to talk first and foremost a little bit about the astrology, which, keep in mind, I'm not a professional astrologer, but I do a lot of research into astrology. I have a passion for it. I love it. Who knows, maybe someday I will get certified and I'll actually attend a structured way of learning the astrology. But for now, let's go ahead and just talk about some of these astrological transits. Okay, so we have the moon, which is obviously in Scorpio, conjunct Mars, which is also in Scorpio. So conjunctions are a nice blending of energy, and we have two of these energetic aspects of Scorpio that are kind of coming together. The moon representing our subconscious mind, our deeper emotions, how we feel, how we interpret things symbolically and subconsciously, and Mars being all about action, movement, force, sometimes assertiveness and or aggression. So we have those two energies blending fairly well together. Then we also have the moon and the sun in Scorpio, obviously because it's a new moon. Both of them are opposite Uranus in Taurus. Oh my God, I keep calling it Uranus. If you watch the bloopers from my November 2021 monthly reading, yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Uranus, okay, Uranus. So opposite Uranus in Taurus. So oppositions are polarized opposites. So it really shows us the polarity of these two energies, and it can create challenges or bring up challenges. It is a bit of a challenging energy. Scorpio versus Taurus, the moon and the sun being our conscious and subconscious mind, and Uranus being our need for change, for rebellion, for freedom and innovation. And it's in Taurus, which tends to prefer to keep things the way it is. Taurus is more of like that sort of down to earth, grounded type of energy. So it's kind of, this is a mixed bag energetically is what I'm picking up on. And then the last thing we have is the moon in Scorpio square Saturn in Aquarius. And a square is action oriented, and it can also bring up sort of aggressive or more hot-headed type of energy, especially since we have that moon conjunct Mars aspect as well. So there can be some tendencies towards energy feeling a little bit more aggressive, or people more quickly responding to emotional triggers in a way that is not as regulated or as balanced as it could be. But overall, this new moon feels very intense. Scorpio is known for its intensity. It's the sign that represents deep diving into the subconscious and transformation that can come from that. And I feel personally that this moon is bringing up a lot of forward movement in terms of what we can create based on change. change that we want to see, change that we want to create, change that we want to experience in our lives. So this can be moving homes, this can be switching jobs, this can be doing things differently in the job that you already do. It can be creating better routines for yourself on a daily basis that help to free up more time, or to improve your health, or to just basically allow for some kind of transformation. Scorpio is all about shadow work, so this can also arise in terms of our subconscious, our emotional health, mental health, that kind of thing. So we might see a tendency towards needing to work on some of those more subconscious aspects. Focusing on mental health and healing is definitely highlighted around this new moon as well. This new moon feels a little bit less like a new moon, like a new beginning. And I've been saying that for a while. Each new moon has felt more like a full moon, and each full moon has felt more like a new moon. That's been going on for like at least the last few months. So I find that really interesting, and I'm not going to talk too much about that here, but essentially you can still set intentions around this new moon if you want to, but I do feel as though this is more so a time to kind of go inward and then apply what you learn from what you experience on the internal realms and put that into action. So yes, you can set intentions, but now is the time for action. So if you actually want to get something going, don't just write it down and set that intention. Actually go out there and start to make it happen. And another aspect that I wanted to mention before we get into the cards is I sometimes will be drawn to certain crystals around certain times, and this usually happens when I'm working with clients one-on-one, doing Reiki, and mostly the Reiki sessions is when it happens, sometimes tarot, sometimes the soul realignment Akashic readings, but mostly Reiki, where I'm drawn to a specific crystal or a certain scent or something that will benefit the client at the time of the reading, and what they're needing energetically to help them to move forward or to release what they're holding on to or anything like that. So the crystal that came up for this new moon, and this is the crystal that I'll be working with today, and if you guys have it at home, you can pull that out and work with that energy as well, is Tiger's Eye. So I have my Tiger's Eye bracelet. I was drawn to this specifically and to put this on for this reading. And Tiger's Eye helps us to release fear and anxiety. It aids in creation of harmony. It stimulates action, which goes really nice with that Mars in Scorpio energy. And it helps us to discern and understand and to make better decisions because we have more clarity of mind, not being obscured by any kind of emotional murkiness, right? So it gives us that clarity of mind to be able to see and understand what's actually going on and then to make an appropriate decision. It also helps us to boost confidence and determination, as well as perseverance and persistence. So this is why I love Tiger's Eye, is because it really helps to kind of boost energy, motivate you, get you moving forward. It's very action oriented, and it's one of the first crystals that I ever started working with next to quartz and selenite. So I wanted to bring that up in case any of you guys were looking for a particular crystal to work with around this new moon. And if you have this on hand, then that's fantastic. So let's go ahead and pull some cards, and then we can do a little bit of interaction. Okay, so the two decks I'm going to be using today are the traditional Rider-Waite, as per usual. This is my go-to deck. It's what I always like to use. And then I'm going to use the Animal Spirit Totem deck as well. So that was the one that came forward to me. So the animals really want to be here. And I just realized Animal Spirit deck and the Tiger's Eye, tiger, and then Scorpio is a scorpion. So animal totems are coming forward quite clearly, and I'm just realizing that. I love when the animals come forward because they hold very specific archetypes that can help us to move forward on our journey. So I always pay attention to what animals are coming through for me at around certain times, and I'll even write it down and track cycles of when these animal spirit totems are presenting themselves to me. And if you're familiar with working with animal spirit totems, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, I highly encourage you to pay attention and bring awareness and consciousness to how and when animals come through for you in specific times in your life. So my rule is usually if I see something 3 times within a short time span, I'll start to take note of it. And I can see it through, pictures, images, images, videos, or in real life, even sometimes in, statues or things like that. Like I had a period where I was seeing flamingos, and so I was seeing flamingo pictures, flamingo information. I was seeing flamingos on the front yard, on the lawn, that kind of thing. So that was coming forward, and I researched what flamingo represented, and lo and behold, it helped me to get through that point in what I was working with energetically and spiritually in that phase in my journey. So I definitely recommend working with animal totems. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pull some cards for the new moon in Scorpio, and we'll see what's going on. I knew it! Oh, I knew it! Okay, so we got the High Priestess card. So I had a feeling this was going to come out because when I was pre-shuffling the deck, I saw her on the bottom of the deck, when I cut the deck in the middle, and then a third time when I was shuffling. So again, it's like that rule of three tends to really show up in my life in terms of synchronicities and symbolism. So the High Priestess is here to bring consciousness to the unconscious. She's the secret keeper. She holds the knowledge of esoteric wisdom. She is the priestess, right? And so she has all of this spiritual information, knowledge, and wisdom at her behest, but she won't share it until it's time and until the person whom she's sharing it with is ready to understand. Because yes, you can plant a seed, but it won't grow until there's light cast onto it. And what is light if not awareness and consciousness? So this High Priestess energy is beautiful for this new moon, because it really brings awareness to the subconscious, to the esoteric, to the metaphysical, to the spiritual, to the unseen. And it asks us to dive deeper into the unseen, to explore the unknown realms, to look for information that's off the beaten track, and to interpret it based on our own intuition and our emotions, which connect us to our intuition and our subconscious mind. And they're also drawing my attention to the crown that she's wearing, which is the, what is that called? The triple moon. And I actually have that. You probably can't see it, but the picture I have in the back that's obscured by the light is triple moon as well. And this represents the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So it's the three sort of expressions of the divine feminine archetype. So these are the three life cycles, the three different expressions, and it's connected to that lunar energy. So and so is the divine feminine. It's connected to that lunar energy because it's receptive, psychic, intuitive, emotional, empathic. And so this is coming up, I feel, because it's showing us these phases or these cycles and how to create balance with those, because now my eyes being drawn to the pillars behind her of black and white. So we're being shown how to create balance between what is hidden and what is seen, between what is light and what is dark. And so through these different phases, just like the moon goes through phases, the moon is in its dark phase right now. So it's unseen in the sky. Things are hidden. Things are behind the scenes. Information might arise that was once hidden from you, because we do have that opposition with Uranus. So there could be new information that comes to rise that you were previously unaware of. So pay attention to your intuitive knowings. Pay attention to these metaphysical, spiritual, intuitive nudges. Pay attention to your dreams as well. They can be particularly informative and symbolic and vivid around the time of these lunar cycles, specifically the new and full moon. Next card we have is the Queen of Pentacles. And I love that we have two very feminine energies coming forward connected to this lunation. The Queen of Pentacles is that Taurian energy. So because we have the moon and sun opposite Uranus and Taurus, we have that Taurian energy coming forward, kind of grounding some of the unexpected and new sort of epiphanies and awareness that we're gaining around this moon into the physical. So the Queen of Pentacles is really good at bringing things that are intangible into the physical realm. So for example, the High Priestess brings us an awareness of something spiritually that we need to address. Now, we are both spiritual and physical beings. We cannot deny one aspect or the other. They are a conglomeration. They are two parts of the same whole. So when we have an awareness that is spiritual, we also need to apply that literally and physically in our human life, in our current incarnation. And I talk a lot about this with my clients doing soul realignment work, because we focus a lot on who you are spiritually at soul level and how the dysfunctional expression of those energies can show up within the karmic patterns. And karmic patterns are just choices made at the level of action that are out of alignment with who you are and your empowered self at soul level. So change and alignment and empowerment at soul level needs to be embodied within the physical experience. We can't just clear things in the mental realm. We can't just clear things in the spiritual realm. At the higher dimensions, that's fine, but if you want to actually experience change in your life, then you do need to ground that and make it more practical and physical. So how can you apply that in your life? So let's say, for example, this high priestess brings you awareness of a pattern that you've been repeating that is out of alignment with you at soul level, and she's bringing it to you through your dreams or through symbolism or synchronicity. She's bringing you awareness of these things in very subtle, very hidden types of ways. So it is up to you to interpret that. It is up to you to apply that as well. So let's say, for example, she brings you awareness around this pattern, and you realize that you've been self-sabotaging in a particular area, and something that has been like that way for so long, it's almost like it's just completely flown under the radar. But when you shine that light on it, when you interpret the very subtle types of hints that the high priestess is sending you around this new moon energy, you start to see it in new light, and you might have some kind of new awareness that springs to mind, or you might have all of a sudden this epiphany of what you want to do or what you need to do to get back into alignment with yourself and create the results that you want in your life at a physical, tangible level. And so what would you do then? Well, you would have to address the action that led to the karma or the disempowering choice, because that will drain your vital force energy. We need that to thrive. We need that to manifest. We also need that to be physically healthy. And the Queen of Pentacles is also focused on the physical body and our health. So not only do we need to eat well, do we need to, focus on our emotional and mental health and our breath and our connections with other people and our finances, but we also need to make sure that our body is in alignment with our spiritual self so that the two can work together and cooperate. So say, for example, that pattern comes to mind, you gain awareness of it, and then all of a sudden you realize what it is that's been causing the problem, where it is that you've been self-sabotaging. Well, then having that awareness is not enough to actually shift it or clear it energetically. Yes, awareness is huge and it's so crucial and so important, but the only reason that it's important is because then it gives you the ability to do something about it, and to do something about it you need to do something physically. So what would you do to change those self-sabotaging patterns? Well, you'd have to look at the actions that you were taking that were contributing to that. So you would have to look at where there was fear creating procrastination, for example, or where there was hesitation, or where you were pushing people away as a means to try and protect yourself. So these are the types of things. And then you'd have to kind of do the opposite of that, right? You'd kind of have to face that fear or communicate how you're feeling to your partner, or push yourself to kind of move past the fear and do the action anyway. So this is where the Queen of Pentacles really comes in for me. It's like, it's time to take action on something in a very grounded physical way in regard to something that we're gaining awareness of at the spiritual level. Let's see what else is coming through. Rainbow Love Light says she sees dragonflies or I think it's a she, you are a she, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Dragonflies and wasps. Dragonflies represent transformation, growth, and the bridging of worlds, because they are born in the water and then they move to the land and then they move to the air. So you're bridging the worlds. You are transitioning from different states of being within the emotional realm, the physical realm, the mental realm, etc. So I love dragonflies as a symbol of transformation. And wasps I've never actually worked too closely with. Definitely bees for me. I work a lot with bees. It's one of my main totem animals, but Wasps, that's interesting. I'm going to have to look up what that means. Do you know what the wasp means for you? Okay, so I'm just kind of going over some of the comments while I'm pulling the rest of these cards. So great to see you guys all here. Thank you so much for stopping by. And don't forget to like the video. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that for me, because, you know, I want to keep growing this channel. I want to keep investing in the content that I want to share with you guys, and the work that we do together here really helps me to feel connected to the world, because I'm a bit of a hermit, to be honest. I'm a bit of a hermit. I don't really leave the house very often. I kind of live in a remote area. I don't see my friends too often because they live about an hour away from me. So I really feel connected to you guys, and I feel that we have a really nice group community here, and I'm really thankful for that. So thank you guys for being here. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these cards that just came up. We have the Knight of Cups showing up. So this Knight of Cups energy is, yeah, it's emotional. Okay, and it can be romantic as well. So there could be some passion sparking around this time, Scorpio, and some of that Mars energy can be very passionate, and want to communicate emotion, want to bring that to the surface, to talk about it, to get it out on the table, you know, that kind of thing. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. And I had a feeling this was going to come up as well because it was on the bottom of the deck when I finished shuffling. So the Wheel of Fortune is these cycles changing, the wheel of time, moving things along. And like I said, it's like the phases, the cycles of the moon. The triple moon type of energy is what I'm getting from this Wheel of Fortune. So it's these natural cycles and phases of life. And Scorpio is kind of like the phase of death. That's why it's represented by the death cards, and that's why it's in fall in the northern hemisphere. So this is connected to the endings of certain cycles and the beginnings of new ones, because as we know, when we die, we then transfer our consciousness into the spiritual realm, and we set ourselves up eventually for reincarnation. If that's what you don't believe, if you don't believe in that, that's fine. But given the work that I do, I've come to really, really believe in that based on what I've seen. Like, so much evidence for me has come through the reading work that I do. So I don't even question it anymore. And the Wheel of Fortune can also represent a change in luck. It's fate, though, and we are entering into the eclipse portal. So this new moon is not an eclipse, but it is the beginning energy of the eclipse portal that will be happening on the 19th of this month with the full moon Taurus eclipse at that time. So that's going to be a series of a couple months where we're in those eclipses, and eclipses bring about a lot of fated circumstances, changes, things like that. So fate is on the table, literally, it's on the table. And this is an opportunity to take fate into your hands, to work with fate. Now, what I mean by that is when Uranus is having a big influence astrologically around the time of these moon phases, what it can do is it can kind of force you to make some kind of changes. And if you resist that, if you feel the need to change but don't, what can happen around the eclipse portal is that you'll kind of be forced to change. So instead of being able to make the changes yourself, so say for example, you're in a job that you don't like, it's very draining energetically for you, it's uninspiring, you feel very tired and frustrated. And let's say, for example, you start to receive intuitive information that maybe it's time to look for a different job. Maybe there's other opportunities starting to show up, but you're complacent because you're comfortable where you are, even though it's not ideal, even though it's actually not aligned with you and it's disempowering you in the short and long term. Well, Uranus will give you the opportunity to take that sort of little nudge and make the change yourself. But if you don't, because maybe let's say free will, you know, we always have free will. If your fear stops you, or your doubt, or whatever it is, right? Something stops you from making that change. Then all of a sudden around the eclipse portals, we have all sorts of things starting to happen. So say, for example, you're in that job you don't like, all of a sudden your job changes and it's worse than it was, and you're kind of forced out, or maybe you get laid off, maybe you get fired. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. This is just a hypothetical situation, but that's what Uranus can bring up. You know, it kind of gives us the opportunity to create change ourselves, and if we don't, then it can force us to do it, because it's things that our soul has set up for us, right? We have certain kind of checkpoints that we need to get to, and if we're not exactly where we need to be, we're going to be repositioned. You can see this in the Saturn return, which usually happens around 28 to 29 years old for most people, and then in cycles of that time period thereafter. So being repositioned because your soul has set certain checkpoints that you need to be at by that time is not a bad thing, but it can feel like it if you resist it, because the ego will not enjoy being forced to change and having things be out of its control. Hi, Liam. My brother, Liam? I think, yeah. My brother's name is Liam, so I think that's my brother. Hi, and hi Gioneo and Savannah. Wasp is the symbol of control over your life circumstances and signifies evolution, progress, development, and order. It means you need to stop wishing on your dreams and start acting on them. Oh, that's so perfect. Thank you, Savannah. You guys, go check out Savannah's stuff over at Vibe Tribe Notions on Etsy. I'll try to remember to post the link in the comment section below, but you can just look up Vibe Tribe Notions on Etsy. She makes awesome sprays, and I use these for cleansing, for clearing work. I'm almost out of the rose spray. I need to get some more, Savannah. So, yay, it is my brother. Hi, Liam. I saw you texted me earlier, and then I got distracted getting ready for the reading, so I'll text you back after this. I love you. Okay, so yeah, so I love the Savannah. Thank you for sharing about the wasp, because that's so applicable to what we're experiencing here and kind of what I was talking about in terms of needing to take action, moving forward, controlling your own life circumstances, that kind of thing, with Uranus and Mars being activated through this new moon phase. Next card we have is the Four of Wands. So this is about creating stability. It can also be about celebration or a new sort of level up in life. It's like getting to that checkpoint. You know what they're showing me in my mind's eye? Okay, those of you who grew up in the 90s, you will have played Super Mario. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I sure did. I played a lot of Super Mario. And when you would get through the level, at about halfway, there would be like these bars that you would jump through to kind of get through the checkpoint, so that if you died, you would restart from the checkpoint instead of going back all the way to the beginning. And then at the end there was the flagpole, and you'd like, woo, fireworks around the castle, all that good stuff. And it's interesting that they're kind of bringing that thought up to me in connection to this Four of Wands, because it's like this is some kind of a checkpoint, and it's coming right after the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a checkpoint that we are collectively getting to in our human evolution. And this can also apply to certain aspects of your own personal life as well. You might be finding that you're kind of getting to a point where you're ready to level up, you're ready to create some changes, you're looking for expansion, more freedom, more empowerment, or any areas that there's been sort of imbalance in your life. Those are really needing to kind of be addressed right now, because the next card we have is, well, imbalance, the Two of Pentacles reversed. So this is something that is being highlighted. For me personally, this new moon is activating my 6th and my 12th house axis. The 6th house being about daily routines, and the 12th house being about the subconscious mind, the unseen, the spiritual, and things like that. So for me, I'm having to apply more spiritual aspects into my daily life to create more balance, because even though I do spiritual work with my clients and things, I often tend to kind of neglect my own spiritual routines. Like, I probably don't energetically cleanse as much as I should. I probably don't meditate anywhere close to as much as I should. So this is kind of like, a little bit of a push for me, just to give you an example of how this may be playing out. So you guys want to check where this is falling in your chart. So you want to find the axis that this is hitting, and see how those two energies are creating a sort of need or a push for change in your life. So creating balance is highlighted here for all of us, whether it's in those realms or in others areas of your life. And that's going to help to create more of a firm foundation going forward. And it's going to get you to that next stage, that next level, essentially. Maybe you're still on the same level, but you've gotten to a checkpoint, so you don't have to keep going back and spinning in circles of old patterns that keep you kind of stuck or stagnating. So this is really good. I really see this as an opportunity to level up. The next card we have is the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, Michaela, so what you want to look for in your chart is basically what houses are being activated by this moon. So, okay, how do you do that? Again, I'm not an astrologer, guys, so I'm sorry that my advice on this is not as thorough as I would like it to be, because I'm all about information and giving you the right information. But basically the moon, where Scorpio is falling in your chart, because Scorpio is in my 6th house, and across from that is the 12th house. So yeah, you would want to look for where Scorpio is in your chart, and where the moon or any kind of activations that the moon is making towards other planets, towards elements within your chart, and what house that's in. So I hope that that makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, hope that that makes sense. Your moon is in Scorpio. Oh, Liam, I didn't know your moon was in Scorpio. Where the new moon is. Yeah, you want to look to where the new moon is falling in your chart. What house that's activating, what sign that's activating, what axis that's activating, what other planets that's activating, all of those things. Yeah, thank you. There we go. So, Seven of Pentacles. I love this for patience. Knowing, having faith and knowing that the work that you're putting in will bear fruit. I have a feeling that this is connected to, it's kind of like, what I'm seeing is the soil beneath the surface. So instead of kind of keeping an eye on what you can do at the top level for growth, like watering and sun, this is more, I'm thinking more in terms of fertilization. So fertilizing the soil, tilling the soil, that kind of thing. So to relate that to real life applications, this wouldn't be so much about what you can do. What am I trying to say here? Because it is emotional, it is based on consciousness, but it's like digging under the surface, right? It's digging under the dirt and putting soil and healthy nutrients into the dirt of your life. So that's the foundation, right? That's what we saw with the Four of Wands. The foundation of your life needs some tending to around this new moon. And when you do that, you're going to be able to see some results coming by the full moon, and through the eclipse portal. There's going to be a lot more change to come. So bear that in mind as well. So we also have the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is, it's a little bit of a burdensome energy. It's heavy. It's having a lot on your plate. It's spinning a lot of plates in the air all at once. So it can also look like multiple obligations, multiple responsibilities. So what I'm seeing here is that if this is weighing you down and preventing you from really expressing your empowered, inspired, aligned self, then it's a good time to address what can go, you know. And this could be physical in terms of maybe doing some fall cleaning of the house, you know, instead of spring cleaning, let's do fall cleaning, where you're going through the closets and, you know, all of the hidden, the dark realms under the bed, in the closets, behind the bookshelf, you know, things like that, that are kind of out of sight, out of mind. In the drawers, in the fridge, that's a big one for me, because object impermanence is an issue for people with ADHD. So if I put anything in my crisper drawers, it just rots because I forget it's there. So find the dark areas that are unseen or untended to for long periods of time and clear those out. So it's no coincidence that Scorpio season is around the time of Halloween and the Day of the Dead and things like that, is because it's kind of it's causing us to need to bring skeletons out of the closet. So we literally go into the darkness and we clean that out. And this is what I'm seeing from this 10 of Wands energy. It's like, what do you need to clear out of your life? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to put down? How can you do that? Do you need to delegate? Do you need to hire someone to come in and clean your home for you? Do you need to research a system of how you could do this, or how you could organize better, or how you could make this more sustainable? And when it comes to work and projects and things like that, this is kind of looking at what can you assign to somebody else, or what can you ask for help around, or what can you put off until later? What priorities need to be kind of set in place? What do you need to focus on the most? And what's going to bring you the most short and long term? And then kind of go from there. I want to say that this is, it's an opportunity to put a lot of this stuff down, because there's a lot of heaviness, and this is the ending of a cycle. It's the ending, and we got two 10s sitting right on top of each other. So right above the 10 of Wands is the Wheel of Fortune, which is also a 10. So closure, endings, cycles closing out, needing to kind of clean house, or if we're talking about this in emotional terms, this is going within the subconscious and cleaning out all the spider webs in your mind of areas that you've kind of neglected or that haven't seen the light of day in a long time, right? Maybe memories from the past that need to be addressed because they're still impacting your behaviors today. And maybe you didn't realize that, but this new moon brings that up, and then you have an opportunity to address it. So I do a lot of that work with clients in the Reiki sessions and the Akashic readings. And I can tell you it is hugely transformational, because when you bring these things to your consciousness, when you then take the action to implement the changes into your life, you can go from 0 to 100 really quickly. You can realign yourself mega powerfully and start to see the results manifest right away. And so that's something that I've seen in my own life, because I do this work for myself as well, right? And I've seen it with my clients as well. So this is a great time to do that work for yourself, to focus in on what you need to clean out. All areas of life, clean it out. Purge, go deep, go into the darkness, go into the back closet, go dig deep into the soil and see what needs to be gotten rid of and what you can add in that's going to be much better to create a much more solid foundation, that kind of thing. All right, so now let's grab some of these oracle cards. I'm just going to, actually, no, I'll leave those there like that. So let's grab some oracle cards and see what else is coming up. So James Banks says, new energy running on old systems, time to upgrade your software. Right? I totally agree. And I am so guilty for not upgrading my software. Like, I have been hitting remind me later on my computer for probably like 6 years. Guys, this is bad. I'm like, it's probably going to take like what, 10, 15 minutes for me to upgrade and reboot my computer. But I don't know what it is. I'm just like, no, not right now. No, not right now. I'll do it later. And then later never comes. So this is kind of a wake-up call for me personally, and if this resonates with you, to take the time to upgrade, to do that reboot. My cell phone's doing it too. It keeps asking me, do you want to update your carrier settings? And I'm like, not now, not now, not now. It asks me, the little drop down thing comes on like 3 times a day. And I'm like, not now, not now, not now. I could be literally just sitting there doing nothing. And I'm like, not now. So yeah, that sense of procrastination and putting things off, this is not the time for that, especially when it's something that's impacting your life in some kind of way. I mean, obviously, updating my computer and my phone is not really having any kind of negative impact on my life, other than the fact that I kind of feel crappy about about not doing it. Like, it just keeps happening, and every time I'm like, why am I like this? So, yeah. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's nerfect. Okay, so we have the cat spirit totem coming out. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your over dependency on others. Yeah, so cats are very independent. Cats really like to have their space. They like to come to you when they want something. They're very assertive. If they don't like something, they're going to let you know. If you have a cat, or if you've ever encountered a cat that was like, yes, pet me here, don't pet me there, you're going to get bit or scratched. They're assertive in that way, and it can come off a little aggressive in those instances, but it's only because their initial signals weren't being heeded, right? Because cats communicate through body language, and it's very subtle. And that's, oh, I love that, because this is so connected to the high priestess energy. It's like this very subtle form of communication. So this is us heeding that communication and responding so that we don't get bit by Mars and Uranus, right? So it's like, respond to what's coming up, pay attention to the subtleties, and that will help you to create more independence in your life, to feel more like your boundaries are being respected by yourself and by others, and be assertive with that, but not aggressive, right? Obviously, there's two sides to that coin when we look at Martian energy, but ideally in the higher expression, it's assertive. And I talked about this last time as well in the last moon reading. Next, we have the meerkat. Get support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. Now, this is interesting because look at that. You have one card saying, don't be so over-dependent, really create your independence. And then you have another card saying, connect with friends. So it's interesting that they're bringing these two aspects up, because we would look at them as kind of polar opposites. Some people think, if I'm too integrated into a group, then I'm not as independent as I need to be. Or if I'm independent, that means that I can't have any support networks outside of that. But I really don't think that that's true. I think that those two are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist as one thing, right? We can be independent and simultaneously have a group of trusted friends, like-minded individuals, your tribe, right? Your soul tribe. And you know what I also want to mention is that cats are known for being really super independent, but at the same time, they're actually group animals. They thrive on connection, and that's why if you find that your cat kind of follows you from room to room all the time, it's because they want to be close to you, because that's their way of showing that you're connected, that you're friends, right? They want to hang out with you, even if they're just sitting off on the other side of the room. That's their way of showing that you're their pack, you're their tribe, that they care about you, that kind of thing. But they do it in very subtle, kind of standoffish ways, which I love. So this cat energy is very interesting to me. I want to get some more of these oracle cards. Danny, yeah, let's upgrade our Macs. Seriously, I need to upgrade my Mac. Yeah. Oh, Liam, you're getting a new kitten? No way. Oh my God, I can't wait. You got to send me pictures. I want to see. All right, let's see what else is coming up. We got a big chunk. We've got a couple cards here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one that came out was platypus. Now this is interesting because I actually saw a picture of a platypus yesterday, and I kind of took note of that, and I was like, that's random. Why a platypus? And now we have platypus. So platypus is stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. Now, I don't necessarily think that it's like stop complaining, but I was listening to some Abraham Hicks last night as I was trying to fall asleep, and she was channeling this energy about focusing on what you want to create, focusing on the experience and the feeling of gratitude for what you have now, which will put you in the vibrational resonance with the vortex of things that you want to create based on your desires and your intentions. So this platypus energy is coming up to kind of maybe smack you in the face a little bit with, the fact that if you've been really complaining about being in a particular situation or environment or whatever it is, that it's time to kind of take back control of that aspect of your life and to create some change. Again, that goes with that Uranus energy, and Mars is really inspiring us to take action around this time. And I've been here. I've been here. I've been in jobs that I really hated. They did not resonate with me. They were soul sucking, and I complained a lot. And I realized that complaining about it was not getting me anywhere. And it was only when I started to shift my consciousness around it that these opportunities started to come up. And that was when I learned Reiki, and that was when I was directed into my spiritual path. So this was like a huge major awakening for me, and it got me out of a situation that was highly out of alignment for me. And it was around my Saturn return, so I was being redirected. And I feel like this new moon has that type of energy with it. So platypus. Okay, what else do we have? We have the gorilla. Take the time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. So connections within family, within groups are being highlighted at this time. Having independence, but also being connected and having that circle that you can trust, or that sense of belonging is also really important. That's what I'm feeling here. Then we have chameleon. Stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. Okay, so this one I want to get a clarifier on from the Rider-Waite, because I feel like this is kind of the opposite energy that I'm feeling. Can I get a clarifier on the chameleon? What is this connected to, or how can we interpret this? So we've got the Three of Cups coming out to clarify that chameleon card. And the King of Swords reversed. So this is an interesting combo, you guys. I'm a little bit stumped by this, not gonna lie. Stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. And then the King of Swords in reverse is he's not really taking action. He's usually the one who stands up and speaks his truth. He's not afraid to be assertive or to stick to his guns, kind of thing. And he's in reverse, so he is holding back a little bit. And then you've got the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups being about connections with family, with friends, reunions, celebrations, things like that. So this is interesting because we do have some of those themes of connection within groups and building stable foundations and having that sense of connection while at the same time maintaining independence. So it's like this kind of dualistic energy where we're falling a little bit on both sides of the spectrum through this new moon, where we're needing to connect, but we're also needing to assert our independence, and we're needing to take action, but we're also needing to kind of do some of that inner work, which means kind of taking some time to kind of like hermit or go internal. So it's like there's this real duality here that is kind of hard to peg down, and it's like a paradox because these two sides, these two polarities feel very counterintuitive, but they're really the same energy, just in different expressions, in different polarities, and therefore they're on the same spectrum. So that's interesting. Last card we have here is the Falcon, also known as a peregrine. Act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without equivocation. I like that word, equivocation. So that's what I was sensing with the tiger's eye. It's like take action, jump on opportunities, be discerning, that kind of thing. And the Falcon has a very keen eye for seeing the truth in a situation, because the falcon can fly really high. The falcon is also, hawks and falcons and other birds like that are usually associated with the bridging between worlds. So they are able to fly high, but also to then stand on the ground. So they are the bridge between the upper realms and the lower realms, the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And they often are considered messengers. So they bring information from the spiritual realm and anchor it down into the physical. So that's really sitting well with the High Priestess and Queen of Pentacles energy. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna see if there's any other cards that want to come forward at this time. Yeah, they want me to pull one from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So I will do that. I just need to grab the guidebook, because I love how Colette Baron-Reid has written the explanations in the guidebook. Oh, Leanna, you just learned your Reiki 2 symbols and you got your initiation. I'm so, so glad to hear that. I recommend that everybody learns Reiki because it really helps to align you. It really helps to bring your ability to heal yourself and to work with your own energy in a powerful way to the surface. And you don't have to do it to work with clients. You can do it just for you, right? You don't have to go all the way with the mastership. You can even just do Reiki 1 and you'll receive really profound results from that. Reiki changed my life. So I'm definitely a supporter of learning Reiki. Okay, the card fell on the ground. Give me one sec. Ugh. Okay. We have time to go. All right, so it's time to go. This card came up in some of the November monthly readings, or when did it come up? It came up. I can't remember when, but it came up. Maybe it was in a client session. My memory is not very good for things like this. I have to write everything down. I have extensive files for each one of my clients because I can't remember anything. Okay, so 45, time to go. Endings, completion, walking away from something because there's nothing else to learn or experience. So the Oracle's message here is you are at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There's nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. Yeah, so endings, really bridging the gap into these new beginnings. So having the opportunity to create some change around this new moon and leading into the eclipse cycle is highlighted for sure. That's something I've been seeing in the people around me and experiencing in my own life with that 6-12 house axis. And that's what I've been picking up on energetically and intuitively as well. So hopefully this goes smoothly for you guys in however this plays out in your life. And if there are endings that are at hand, hopefully you can find the blessings that come along with that and really embrace the change with excitement and curiosity and a sense of innocent sort of playfulness rather than kind of feeling that really heavy sense of grief or obligation or fear around change, right? It's all about our perspective and how we choose to experience things, and not everything can be experienced in a positive light. That would be a little bit, spiritual bypassing. Oh, there's Kitty walking around behind there. But I'm a personal optimist. Personally, I tend to lean towards optimism, and that's just the lens through which I choose to see the world, because why would I want to see it any other way? So, oh, Kitty has joined us. Hello, Kitty. Hello. Kitty of 2 Kitty and beyond. Yes, that's right, sweetie. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Yes. Hi, sweetie. She wants to come. She does this a lot when I'm working and stuff. Like, she'll come jump up on the chair, or she'll come and sit on my notes when I'm trying to write things out for a session. And I'm like, Kitty, stop. So anyway, I'm going to start to wrap it up here, guys. I'm not going to do any of the personal readings today because I'm going to be dedicating an entire hour-long window to that on November 11th. So I want to do a live energy sort of update and reading on the 1111 portal. So that's going to be this November 11th. I'm going to jump on at 11 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, or PDT. And feel free to join you guys for that. I will be doing a little bit of an energy update for that, and I will be doing personal sort of energy readings and card pulls for you guys. It will be by donation, but of course that's going to be at your guys's choice, right? So yeah, so feel free to stay tuned for that. I will keep you updated here on the community board as well as on Instagram in my stories, so to remind you to join for the 1111 reading. And that will be predominantly focused on you guys. So instead of so much on the cards and the energy that we're in. Okay, so thank you so, so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you guys attending. Thank you for liking the video, for being part of this community and soul family that we've kind of cultivated here on YouTube. I love her so much. Okay, so I will call it a day here, guys. I've got some work to do. I've got some client readings to get to. Oh, and if you would like to book a reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. I have my website up and running now, so you can book through there to get Akashic readings, Reiki sessions, tarot readings, even property readings as well to clear your home and things like that. So thanks so much, guys, and we will see you on the 11th. Bye.